Mic check, mic check. 1, 2. You're listening to 1079 FM KLNXLP Radio Free Minturn. This is the Krusher Show, brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Taco, the world's most best taco locations in Minturn, Vail, Avon. Make sure you check out their website and get the hours. I believe it's different locations, different times. Specials always going on. But tonight on the Krusher Show, we have some Colorado legends in the house, I would say. High country legends. Guys have been making snowboard movies for 20 plus years. At least 20 plus of these movies. We got Trailer Tom in the house and Nate 4G's Pin. The whole series, saga. Let's get into it, gentlemen. How's it going?
Going well.
Chilling? That's Nate on the mic now?
Yeah, just pumped to be here. This is our obviously second time on the show. We always have fun on this side of the world.
Right. The boys are from Silverthorne area, Summit County, I would say. But you're not. You do this stuff all around Colorado. You guys are... I wouldn't pigeonhole you and just say you're Summit County boys, but you are, right?
Oh, born and raised holding down Summit County, yes,
right.
But we got to travel to do our thing for sure.
Oh, yeah. So what these guys do is every year, they're catching first chair for the first ski day of the year at each mountain. And they're have been so successful doing this. You have other crews copying these guys. Now it used to be a thing to say you got first chair, but now it's like an event, right? I mean, there's news crews, there's documentarists out there filming you guys, and there's a big party. I would say people wanting to get up and get stoked about the year and get on the hill.
Hey, this is Tom Miller, aka Trailer Tom. Indeed, it is a huge event. Thank you so much for having us here, Krusher. We love this show. We love being here. We love what you do for the ski and snowboard and music communities, the art communities. Just such an honor to be here.
Yeah, man. I would not feel like we did something without having you guys on. Do you know what I mean? I wanted you guys on in August, but I'm glad we kind of waited a little bit. That's your busy time. August, September, October, who knows when the snow's going to drop, and you guys are ready.
It's usually October, but yeah, you're right. You just never know exactly when it's going to be, when we got to be holding that place in line.
Chasing down that first chair dream.
First chair dream. We had a movie premiere over at the Colorado Ski Museum tonight. And this one was not a part of the battle for first chair. It was more of a documentary. And what was it based on? What is the new movie about, I guess?
So this was our first attempt at a documentary, but the title of the film is First Chair, Opening Day, Snowboarding the White Ribbon of Livin'. A lot of people call it the white ribbon of death, one skinny run that's up there, but we just love to be on the hill so much. So it's all how you look at things. White ribbon of living.
White ribbon of living. That's nice.
Yeah.
It just rolls off the tongue, right?
It is one of the longest names of any snowboard movie ever.
It's longer than the actual title of the movie, right?
Exactly, and it's super entertaining.
That's like the Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff. So
to honor the long-standing tradition, we had to have a long title, and us backyard indie filmmakers got to have all those keywords jammed in there. That's a technique these days to get things online.
Right, yeah. Tech geeks. And then to check it out online. I saw the link come up on my YouTube channel. I wasn't sure if you were able to play the whole movie on YouTube or not.
There's a couple of director's cuts on YouTube, so if you search around for those, you'll find that. But just
is it under your Trailer Tom channel?
It is. We did a whole premiere over in Dillon, so we kind of documented that whole night of the premiere. and the showings there and the movie, that whole experience. But it's also streaming on the major platforms. So Amazon Prime and Tubi. If you look for it on the major streaming platforms, you'll find us.
Right. And what more great thing to do with your evening than watch a great snowboard flick, right? And it's what you guys do is it's so positive. I just you can't find something wrong with it. You know what I mean? If somebody doesn't like what you're doing, chances are they're kind of a prick, right? You know, because you guys are just out there wanting to get happy about what winter brings. You know what I mean? And
just here to pump up the stoke.
And normal people, winter comes and they want to hunker down and get quiet and go in hibernation. With us, it's part of our ecosystem of living. You know, like town's going to be alive in the wintertime. Mountain's going to be alive. There's always great things to do up there, great people to meet. And there's opportunities. Like, you're living here, you're a forever native local. It's part of what we should be doing, right? I mean, you're documenting what is in our backyard or what we do all the time. And
we live here to play.
Right.
You know,
right.
Like, if you're just here to make money and try and survive, it's not the place to do it. You got to live as well.
Yeah.
So getting out there, getting that play, getting that stoke up, that's what we try and bring across in all of our films. You know, like
right.
You're just here to play.
I was talking to this bartender at Loaded Joe's the other night, and he was talking about how good of a snowboarder he is. Like, how long have you been here in town? You know, like 10 years. Okay, great. But, you know, like, you're the 99% still. The guys who were raised here and grew up here are that 1% that can go anywhere and ski anywhere and be really great, right? And these guys all try and up that rank. You want to be like you guys, let's say, you know, and be able to shred all the time and any mountain, anytime. And do you know what I'm trying to say? The guys,
Chad Otterstrom always says you got to make them want to be like you.
Right. And the locals here, like we were talking about Cesar, who's also in the movie, and we grew up with it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like those guys in Mystery, Alaska that ice skate to freaking work or whatever. Did you watch that movie? No. No, it was a goofy movie, but the whole town is about hockey and everybody skates, and if you don't know how to skate, you're the last guy on the bus, or you're the awkward odd man out, you know. And here, if you don't know how to play in those mountains, you're really not.
Well, like you're saying, a lot of people will move here. They'll be here for a couple years, and lots of parking lot talk, sometimes they call it, or talk at the bar. Yeah. Oh, this Nate Dogggg guy, I've seen him. I can beat him. I'm way better snowboarding. Right. We do bring the receipts in this film of 30 plus years, 40, almost 40 years of snowboard clips, and we like to have fun out there.
The highlight of our year growing up were these snowboard films. I went back to a film school at 35 years old because of these movies. Like, I want to go make movies. I want to be a part of this. And nobody else out there is going to do it but the guys that live here, right? You the only ones that should be doing it, I should say, are the guys that actually live it. You can do your Instagram 15-second reels, but you want to get your meat and potatoes from the locals, or the guys that are in it and doing it every day. I guess is that.
Well, that's where the heart comes from, right?
Right.
It's, I'm sure I'm going to say Minnesota. You said Alaska. But in Minnesota, yeah, you played ice hockey.
Right.
That's what you did. You had a pond in your backyard. You skated around. That's, but you grow up on the slopes, the hill.
Yeah.
This is your home. Like. You, Cesar, skiing, snowboarding,
right.
Vail Mountain for 30 plus years straight. Like, Tom and I were talking about, like, Yeah, you can have an amazing day at Vail, or you can be stuck rocking cat tracks all day long
All
because you
day.
don't know it very well.
Exactly.
You know, but
And we don't understand that once you get up there until you meet people that don't, hey, you got to take this chair to this chair and get to here this fast when they're cat tracking all freaking day. That 5 hours out of an 8-hour day, they're on a catwalk.
Yeah, you want to go to Breckenridge or Keystone? I could walk you through everything in that
Right,
place.
right,
You know?
right.
But Vail, no, I got to call up you locals on this side of the world and be like, can you
Hey.
just drag me around and show me what's cool?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna have fun no matter what. We'll be talking smack and
Right.
enjoying it.
And with every year, the terrain changes. So stuff that used to be is now, hard to find. And you have to find those guys that grew up here and know it. And that's where you get the good clips. And you mentioned Chad Otterstrom. Can't stop watching the guy's Instagram page. Like,
Amazing.
oh
Just
gosh.
in every aspect of snowboarding, just crushing it. So yeah,
Oh,
give
dude.
Chado a follow. Chad Otterstrom on all the different social media platforms. But Nate and I, when we were driving over here, we said, yeah, if we were going to ride Vail, we're going to call Krusher. We're going to call Rob Bach. We're going to
Right,
call John
right.
LeConte because they're going to know the good spots to go. And I could maybe go to the beach, and I've only surfed a couple of times in my life.
Right.
Maybe I could make a surf documentary, but it's not like a surfer living on the beach and
Right.
sleeping on the beach and
Right.
doing nothing but surfing. My documentary is going to suck about surfing, where theirs is going to be the real deal, or you'll see the true sides of those people that live it. every day.
Like Nate said, you see the heart, the actual being. Yeah, man, it's just such a great thing. And 30 years or 20 plus years, 20 plus films, I should say.
20 plus films. This year was our 32nd year
Yeah.
of holding the tradition of first chair on opening day, but there was a lot of amazing things that I've never seen this year. So we got to do some congratulations to Nate Dogg here. Nate Dogg actually got first chair at 2 resorts on opening day
What?
within an hour of each other. So Arapahoe Basin and then Keystone.
Holy crap!
Breaking records and breaking hearts.
Wow. So you got first chair first at,
Arapahoe Basin.
and then flew
They-
down to Keystone
they
an hour
opened-
later.
Well, not even. So we chose to do Arapahoe Basin this year because they said they were opening at 8:30, and Keystone was opening at 9. So that was our choice. We're going to Arapahoe Basin.
Right.
So they ended up opening the chairlift at 8:16. And I was joking the whole day before, like, what if I could drive down? So I measured the time.
Right.
It's 13 minutes. I think we can do this. So yeah, we got first chair at 8:16. I took one run and snowboarded right to my Jeep. Jumped in my Jeep, rallied down the hill to Keystone.
Holy
I
crap.
walked past 500 people in line
And you got to,
with my head down, like not trying to make any eye contact. Snuck to the front of the line, and boom, bam, first gondola started 6 minutes later. I was like,
holy crap.
I'm on.
But not only first gondola. So try to imagine this. How could this be possible? In the realm of quantum physics, there's something's in 2 places at one time. It's called a quantum superposition.
Yes.
One thing in 2 places at one time. So how can you get first chair and second chair at the same resort on the first run on opening day without falling off the first chair and getting back on the second chair?
That is crazy.
How is
man.
that possible?
That is nuts, man.
You have to have someone magical, such as Nate Dogg with 4 Gs. Nate, how did you get second gondola and first gondola all in the same day?
Are you serious? But,
Okay, so I roll up to the front of the line, and I know that gondola holds 8 people, and I count, and I think there's 8 on first, so I'm just gonna get on the second gondola. I've kind of
right, Matt.
whatever. I tried the best I could. I
Right.
made it to second gondola. So we're loading, and as we're riding up the chairlift line up the gondola, I look and I'm counting the gondola in front of me. There's only 7. And I was like, oh, this is on. So at Keystone, there's a mid station. So at the mid station, I pushed open the doors and I ran up to first gondola and got on first. And I was like, woohoo, I've made it.
Holy
It's
crap.
official. So First chair at Arapahoe Basin, 13-minute drive. Left my Jeep running, keys in the ignition in horrible family zone parking. Run to the front of the line, get on second gondola. Said I tried my darndest. Wait a minute.
There
It's
it is.
possible. And then ran up front. We got to do the ribbon break.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
So as far as like a record that probably will never be broken,
No.
I've owned it. But it was a very entertaining day.
Without
And this-
being a local, you would not have had that done. Somebody would have caught you out of those 800 people in line and said something, right?
It's
And get
beyond being a local. Like Tom and I have now reached, I want to say, legacy status.
back. Right.
Where, you know, when I was walking to the front of the line, Jim Hooley from Channel 2 News
Yes.
yells out, "It's Nate Dogg, the first chair king." And I'm trying to be like all
Real chill.
incognito. And then
Blending in and-
you have this guy yelling 25 yards away, like, "Oh my gosh, my cover's blown." So I did my interview and then just kind of just like finagled into that front spot.
But thanks to the first chair family crew over here in Vail, there was a lot of folks in line at Keystone that were
Right.
on that first gondola and second gondola.
To
that
allow
all knew
him in.
Nate.
Yeah.
Yes, and so they were helping him with that mission, and even friends from Summit County. So that was all part of it.
From
But
Denver, like what's his name?
Kieran.
Kieran.
Yep.
That's so cool. And that's the thing is it's now a tradition, right? And a tradition means it has to happen. And if you're a local or those guys that are stoked to get on the mountain, you know, hey, Nate's coming, let him in. Right? Tom's coming, let him in.
That's not how it is, and that's never how we've seen it. Like as
Right.
much as I use the term clout, as much clout as
Yeah.
we have, like we still follow the rules.
Right,
We work
right.
hard.
You guys are there early.
2 days, 3 days,
Yeah.
7 days early,
Yeah.
just to make sure we are that person.
See, and you're scouting times. You're doing the proper things to make sure this tradition keeps going.
We're putting in the work to make those smiles happen.
We did put in multiple days, but yeah, without that crew, that would not have been possible. But that historic 2 first chairs, the
That
first
is
chair and a first
crazy.
gondola in one day within an hour, were all bonus. They were all victory laps because we
Right.
did get first chair opening day at Wolf Creek. So we made the mission down there, about a 4 or 5 hour drive from here
Right.
to get that first chair opening day. Wolf Creek.
Well-
It's been quite a season so far.
Oh my goodness, nothing but epic stories in Wolf Creek. I have a cousin that goes there all the time. I've only did it like twice in my career. I don't really break off much from Beaver Creek and Vail, but I heard Wolf Creek just snow, dumps.
It was a true powder day, opening day over there.
Yeah,
But nothing compared to here. I mean, why do you really need to leave Vail and Beaver Creek?
Right.
They're so good. And Beaver Creek opening day, I couldn't make it over here because there was so much snow.
yeah.
I-70 open and closing, and maybe I could have made it. Some people did, but I did not.
Yeah, I believe like there was a couple other guys that got the first chair from the crew, right?
Well, I think
Beaver Creek.
Beaver
Yeah.
Creek first chair Freddie, was he there?
I don't know. I didn't make first chair Beaver Creek, but I was here overnight for opening day at Vail.
Right.
So the usual crew, Jason, Tyler, Taylor, Cesar,
Yeah.
Jen. Yep, usual crew.
When you say crew, different mountains have different crew of guys that do this stuff, and they're loyal to it. It's kind of like I said, it's a kickoff for your year. If you don't do it, your year's not going to be what it should be or what it could be. And I have much respect to you guys, man. I got gifted a new DVD and I want to say a graphic novel.
Yeah, illustrated novel. Apparently, so I was learning all this. I never dreamed of being an author, but a graphic novel is really comic book on every page. So you're telling the whole story, but every page is through like the comic bubbles. And so yeah, illustrated novel, because this is mostly text, but comic book illustrations at the end of each chapter.
So it's kind of the Star Wars saga. It gives you more heft to what the videos are all about and what what the characters are doing.
Yeah, we were on a show a couple of years ago. We were talking about the battle for first chair,
Yeah.
Opening Daydreams, Pin 20, which was a science fiction ski and snowboard film. And so the book is a sequel follow-up to that film. So it's all those characters plus some new characters. But yes, illustrations done by my friend Mateo.
Dan, they're great.
Thank you.
This book is great. It characters. We had Tom come in as who?
Red Ice, which
Red-
is a kind of a I get a lot of Assassin's Creed or Star Wars style, but a kind of a duster outfit. And then TT-119 is a robot that looks like an astronaut.
So in the beginning, I thought TT-19 was the good guy. Somebody was telling me, I haven't watched the final of it, but somebody was telling me that's not the truth.
Well, if you think of, there's a lot of major conflicts happening in the world right now.
Right.
Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? Both sides will tell you they're the good guys, and the other
Right,
guys are the bad
right.
guys. Same thing in the political scene. So, yeah, it's
Just
all
because he's
perspective.
wearing a white suit doesn't make him the good guy, right?
Maybe the bad guys will come to you in a white suit. And,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
An iconic, good person-looking figure.
Right,
You
right.
just never know.
And then I want to talk to you, Tom, about pinball. And
Love to talk pinball. We could do that all night if you wish.
dude, a senior starting in Summit County. I wish we had it up here. I wish there was more of that game night kind of thing here in the valley. We have a couple bars doing game night, but it's like board games and like no, I grew up with freaking pinball machines and Pac-Man, sitting down on eating pizza, playing freaking the Centipede, Galaga on those little tabletop gaming things, and you're bringing back the whole pinball aspect of it, which, yeah, man, roller skating arenas in Leadville. Did you guys have one in Summit County? A roller skating rink?
Never had a roller skating rink, bowling alley, and movie theater.
Yeah, right.
Some of the restaurants had some pinball machines.
And now, where do you guys play?
So there's quite a few places in Breckenridge to play, but there's a monthly tournament at a place called the Co-Bar. Ian Thorley and his wife now, Jamie, run that pinball tournament. Also, Jeff Rank, aka Fedge Canar, who's in the films with us. All snowboarders that also love pinball. Actually, little known fact about Nate Dogggg 4Gs. He's gone to many of pinball tournaments, even traveled out of state for some of the major tournaments. So Nate is a good pinball player himself.
Yeah.
But really, it's just that time commitment to pick a spot to have those
Dude,
tournaments. And
you gotta have finesse to play pinball. It's not like you're having a game thing in your hand. It's body control even.
It takes steel balls to play pinball.
one people think it's just luck.
No, it's not.
But they'll say the same thing about, say, poker. But you'll see a lot of the same folks at those final tables at, say, World Poker Tour.
Right, right.
Same thing in the pinball world. And yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't have a big tournament or league over here in the Vail Valley. There's a big pinball manufacturer, the most well-known is called Stern Pinball, started by Gary Stern, or run by a man named Gary Stern, who spends his time in the factory in Chicago part-time, but also lives right here in Eagle. And so you'll see him snowboarding up on the slopes, major player in the pinball world. So I know he would be stoked to have a pinball scene grow here over in Vail.
Dude, I just imagine right now one of those places out by the airport, a whole like loading dock full of just pinball machines.
Just a crazy warehouse of play.
Man.
I envision a snowboard museum with Nate Dogg's collection of nearly 500 vintage snowboards, and pinballs all in that warehouse. Sounds like a good time to me.
Do you have any snowboards at the ski museum? Or on loan or anything like that?
I don't, but I have quite a few of the boards that he has in my collection.
Right.
And I actually just spoke with the curator for a while tonight, good friend Trent Bush. about he's trying to open some other museums around the state and me
Right.
putting some of my boards on.
So you were telling me who Trent Bush was. He was a founder of Twist.
Twist Clothing. Back in the day, he had his foot in all the jars.
Right.
You know, that's how snowboarding was.
Yeah.
So like Tech 9, part of Aggression, helping out with Solid, Twist Clothing.
Just all the Colorado-based great companies, man.
Yep, all that creating smiles in that time.
That was such an honor to be over there. Never thought that going for first chair would land us in the Colorado Sports Museum and Hall of Fame.
Right.
But there we were tonight with lots of friends and watching our documentary.
I think it's so
experience.
cool that they do that there. They offer that to people, which is part of the ski community. Is every year you always want to watch those movies in August and October to get you pumped for the season. And you guys are dropping that legacy and keeping it running down.
We really hope this one does.
Yeah.
And I think the Ravenos are having their documentary coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they had some professional crew come out and film them, and I saw some clips of it. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty cool. I mean, that's another history thing, you know. Buzz back, I think in the 70s, I think is when it started. It died down in the 80s because Vail Resorts didn't allow aerial maneuvers. You did a backflip, you got your pass pulled, and you were freaking done for the year. Nazi.
No inverts. No inverts.
No inverts.
Where's your leash?
Yeah, where's your leash? Do you remember that? Oh my goodness. That guy stomping on boards in line, patrollers stomping on people's boards saying, no, you're done.
So the listeners
No
can't
leash.
see, but I'm wearing a hat from Angel Fire, New Mexico that I earned by getting the first chair of the opening day season there this year.
Park cat.
With Park Rat, it says,
Yeah.
yep, on it. And did that with my friend Luke and Chris James, who did all the soundtrack for the last movie, the science fiction, and the documentary. But down there, I took some film of the signage around there.
Right.
You must have a leash on your snowboard.
Yeah.
I have not seen that sign for quite a few years, but I did see it at Angel Fire this year.
It was on every
Mandatory
bus.
leash.
It was on the bus. Like all these eco transit buses, first thing you saw, instead of must watch your step, leash on boards. In the parking lot. Like, what the hell?
So, Krusher, some of these new folks that have not, newer to the ski and snowboard scene, they don't even probably even know what we're talking about.
Right.
What is a leash?
Yeah, a leash. So if you watch snowboarding or surfing, it's the thing that guys tie to their leg so they don't lose their board. And that was one of the biggest complaints, that you guys would lose your board. People don't understand, when you wreck, that snowboard stays on. You know what I mean? But the early days, you didn't have buckles. You were dry dogging it, or some people Sorel boots and bungee cords, so you would have your board flying down the hill solo.
And the best was when you would travel for hours to a resort and you get there and realize you don't have your leash.
Right?
So you're taking your shoelaces out of your shoes and braiding them together and
Right.
tying them to your high back in your shoe.
Yeah, it's insane. And it was such a problem that was one of the major reasons they didn't want to allow snowboarding on so many hills.
Your skis have these releases, so you'll have little breaks that pop out when your foot leaves your ski, but don't have that in snowboarding. So how are we going to make sure your snowboard stays on your body?
Right.
Well, this thing that would attach to either your board or your bindings and then to your leg. That was a snowboard leash. Some of those were plastic metal clips, some of them were Velcro.
Right.
How
How long did that last?
I would say 5 to 10 years, what I remember.
No, I think it went straight into like almost
The
mid
2000s,
90s.
right? Yeah. I was gonna say it was a long
Starting
time.
off mid 80s to definitely mid 90s.
Even when it was a full buckle down system, it was still going. You still had to have that freaking leash, and that leash was such trouble. I know people just eat it like it just screwed up your board sometimes. You have metal components to it. You ride over it, thrown in your car. It always get caught on something.
It was one of those nice ideas, but not
Yeah.
practical at all.
I just imagine some brakes on a snowboard like they have on the skis. These two little freaking tripod things that pop out and stop your board. Now you guys wreck, that thing's not coming off your feet. You know what I mean?
No, and it's back in the day when you didn't have inserts and snowboards and you just kind of screwed your stuff in.
Yeah.
I've seen people take big falls. Both of their bindings are still on their feet, but their board's taking off because
Right.
you ripped out the inserts or ripped out the screws. So your leash is still attached to your binding, but there goes your board.
I swear in storage, my mother saved an old pair of Sorel boots that I put some Lang ski boot liners in, and that's what we used to ride the first Sims board.
We had that conversation at the museum.
Very innovative, sir.
It was a rubber top board, and it was it was the split tail, and there was a bungee cord that went over the top. You just slid your feet in this freaking thing.
So maybe an old winter stick.
Yeah, that's what I think it was, is the Sims winter stick. It was normal board color, but yeah, it was crazy. But yes, Sorel boots with ski boot liners, or you would nail your freaking your shoes to the board. Like, what the heck? That was backyard days, I guess.
Backyard days, we used to take inner tubes, like bicycle inner tubes, and wrap them around like your waist or whatever to hold the board up to your feet as you were snowboarding down like the golf course hills.
Are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
You'd be working out, you'd have tension.
You'd have tension
in your hips.
It'd be your skateboard that you'd skateboard in the summer. You just take the trucks off and then go down the hill holding that thing to your feet with the BMX inner tube.
That's crazy, guys. That's
Advancing to the
crazy.
Sorel days that Taylor Paris was talking about. The outside of that Sorel boot, to enforce that, they would wrap that with duct tape.
Yes.
Kind of like an ace bandage if you
Yes.
tweaked your ankle or rolled your ankle. But yeah, duct tape around those Sorel boots to get some little
And then you want
high
to,
back.
you always cut the top off the ski boot too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the Sorel wasn't as high as the ski boot, so you cut it
I left mine up. I wanted that stiffer.
full all the way up. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! I just remember the bottom. Your feet would be so freaking hurt at the end of the day. You feel the bolts, everything that you'd be walking on. The difference in technology. I mean, I'd rather wear snowboard boots now rather than like Sorel boots. You know what I mean? They're so much more comfortable.
Mine are way comfortable. Yeah, wear those for multiple hours a day. Or
Right.
hanging out in line for
Right.
first chair, you might be in those over 48 hours.
Right?
No problem. They're comfortable.
Or throwing some pinball down at the at the end of the night. You're still in your gear. It doesn't feel like a thing.
Definitely. And we would go usually right off the hill into places where we play pinball. And
Yeah.
actually, the biggest professional tournament that I did was in California. I wore my snowboard gear because that's how I was comfortable playing. I would normally go right off the hill to play pinball, so that was my comfort zone.
So you walked right out of the hotel room, freaking in his snowboard gear to win the pinball tournament.
Middle of summer, Anaheim, California.
Anaheim, California.
Dude, that could be a documentary. That could be a screenplay for a movie.
Absolutely.
Dude, this Colorado boy can't leave Colorado alone.
Goggles and everything. Playing pinball in the tournament finals. Yeah.
He has a secret stash of quarters in his freaking MP3 pocket. Oh, that's awesome. Guys, thanks for coming on. I'm going to do another block of music, but you guys are more than welcome to stay and we could talk some more. Or
We're
Love
here
being
to,
here. We're
Yeah.
here for the duration.
We're here to make everyone smile.
we'll get back on and talk some more shop. If you guys want to call in and donate, you can. It's 970-827-9079. We can't get you on air, but at least you can talk to one of us. If you have any questions for the guys, feel free to give them a call. Also, if you're listening, you like the show, and you want to hear more of the show, please donate. It's Venmo at Radio Free Minturn. Or you can check out www.radiofreeminturn.org. click the donate tab and it'll walk you through all the donations. The donations help us keep this show going, and it'll help us improve our board and sound to get more guests on, like Nate 4Gs and Trailer Tom, legends in Colorado. We do need like a Christopher Columbus statue of either one of you two guys at like the
base of Arapahoe Bay.
Yeah. You know, instead of those bare freaking wooden carvings, we need a Trailer Tom or a Nate 4Gs or a Stazar.
Yeah,
do it.
Both of us just standing there. Maybe I'll put that in my will and donate an extra $10,000 to make a little bust of both of us.
Yeah.
There you go. Nate Dogg Museum.
But even if they want to keep it the wood theme, even do it in wood. But I'd rather see a stone.
Oh, marble maybe.
Yeah.
Marble carving.
Where kids can take their picture in front of it and, hey, these are the real Colorado.
Yeah, I'd be happy with even a snow sculpture that only lasts a few days.
During Ice Week or whatever they call it. The Ice Paradise. All right, guys, we're going to get back into it. We got Jamal Fades Them All in the back. We're going to continue the track. You're listening to 107.9 FM, KLNX LP, Radio Free Minturn. Make sure you guys are checking out Trailer Tom and Nate 4Gs on Instagram. It's Nate, 4, GS. Trailer Tom.
Snowboard Pinball.
Yeah, Snowboard Pinball. Also check out Pin 20.
Pin 20. Pin Films.
Pin Films on, and then you can check out the brief history there, and I believe there's links on those pages to get you to the DVD and to a spot where you can buy this illustrated novel. Now, I'm corrected now.
Amazon, yep.
But it's going in my collection next to the Spawn books. It's my sci-fi collection, man. I respect that 100%.
Just be mentioned in the same sentence as Spawn. That's quite a feat.
It's so OG of you guys to make a sci-fi snowboarding flick. Nobody's ever done it. You guys are the first to do it. Just like the first chair idea. You guys are out here doing real things.
Pioneering, buddy.
Pioneering.
Making people want to be like us.
Right. And make sure you go check out Rocky Mountain Taco, the world's most best taco. They have a serious skateboard, snowboard, surfing type of mentality. They have a whole collection of skateboards in their Minturn location. But all those guys have ridden and rode. And I know Dan, one of the owners at Rocky Mountain Taco, has like every snowboard film ever made. Like one of those, like kind of like your collection.
That's amazing.
He's been collecting skate films and snowboard films, I believe. He's got a big collection. I don't know if it's as big as yours. You got a lot, right?
Yeah, I've got almost 500 snowboards.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how many skateboards these guys have, but the snowboard, skateboard, and the movie collection.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna get back into it. Again, Jamal Fades Them All. You're listening to 107.9 FM KLNXLP Radio Free Minturn. I am DJ Krusher Jones, and this is the Krusher Show. Tonight we have our special guests in-house. Well, actually, before I introduce my special guests, let me give a big shout out to Rocky Mountain Taco, world's most best taco locations in Minturn, Eagle Vale, and Avon. Make sure you check them out. Special winter hours right now, and make sure you're checking out the Minturn location for all the great specials they have. My favorite is Fish Taco Tuesday. Best fish tacos in town. Fresh, fried fish thrown in a tortilla. Can't beat it. But like I said before, we have some special guests in house. These gentlemen had a movie premiere or a showing. It's not. So was it a premiere? Yeah, a premiere for the ski museum, right? Or
Colorado Sports Museum and Hall of Fame. They're just showing over there.
the Hall of Fame. That's what I say. You guys need this Hall of Fame name. Legends. You're doing something so unique and in such a different way. The way you're telling the story of what you guys do is just super cool, and it needs to be notified, or people need to be notified and need to know about you guys. Which, if you're talking to guys that we know, you're already legends to us, but maybe to some of these listeners out there, explain what I'm talking about, I guess.
A lot of people have had the experience, obviously, of standing in line, whether that's at the grocery store or the post office or the ski lift. So it's a really big deal when the resorts open for the year for opening day. It's kickoff of the season, but also a bigger deal to be on the first chairlift opening day. So I think people can really relate to what it's like to stand in line for a long time, maybe multiple days at a time. And so it's, what do we do when we're out there waiting for that chair? And it would be hang out with friends, we'll play pinball, some of us work remotely, so we can get a lot of work done if you're pulling multiple all-nighters in a row.
Right? I mean, that's so crazy. I just had a power glitch over here.
Hey, we may be on, we may not be on.
Right? The music's definitely off. I don't know what happened.
Well, speaking of music, a lot of people ask me, what do I listen to if I'm on the slopes? Or in the studio, if you're just listening to us, you can't see we have these big DJ headphones on, and I wear big DJ headphones when I'm playing pinball tournaments. So people ask me, what am I listening to? What am I listening to? So I will listen to just about anything. I'll listen to some electronic dance music. I'll listen to some Beethoven. I'll listen to some classical music. But I figured I would go down through some of my playlists here.
Let's do that, yeah.
And see if your audience recognize any of these. Or we'll go maybe A, B, and C. AMG, Artifacts, AZ, Big L, Big Timers, Black Moon, Black Sheep, Blase Blase, Boogie Monsters, Busta Rhymes, Capone Noriega, Capadonna, Craig Mack. There you go. That was A through C in the Trailer Tom iPhone playlist.
It's a lot of flavor for your ear.
So in the background we have AMG, Bitch Better Have My Money.
Oh man, what a classic album. We were talking a little 2 Live Crew on the break here.
Dude.
But AMG, American made G's. We'll keep it PC.
AMG, were they Cali band, right? Or were they out of San Francisco? Or?
I thought it was Bay Area.
Yeah, Bay Area stuff before.
Before Montel Jordan.
Before Montel Jordan. Well, now the whole Bay Area thing is like a thing, you know. They got their Hizzle Dance and E40 and all those guys.
I loved a little sparkle twinkle me.
Yeah,
E40.
E40 is awesome, man. We have some Greg Mack in the background since you mentioned him.
I dropped some of that, yeah. If we get into the D's, we got Dr. Octagon, Legend. Deltron, we have
more
it here.
legends. And we're talking underground indie hip hop, right? What I call it, well, backpack hip hop.
Okay.
It was more for the educated youngster than NWA was, let's say. I was more East Coast than West Coast. But then through MF Doom, a couple other bands like that, it created the subgenre of backpack or skateboard hip hop, where it was more conscious and maybe more lyrics thrown in there than traditional radio hip hop was, right?
Absolutely. I mean, some of these guys just geniuses in their own right, but yeah, Nate Dogg, 4Gs, what kind of music do you like to listen to on the slopes if you do?
I'm still stuck on that 90s hip hop. There. I don't think there's anything new. Maybe a little Prof. I've been getting into Prof the last couple of years.
Dude, his YouTube channel is the best.
So funny.
Another guy you gotta check out if you like Prof is Wax. Way back in the day, but he's just a funny, I would call him like a Saturday Night Live hip hopper. You know what I mean? It's always fun. I'll play you a track by Wax.
Well, it's funny because like I always talk about how music makes you ride differently. You know, if you're on a nice blue groomer day and you're listening to some fast metal, it's one of the funnest days ever because you're just zooming fast, connecting those edges. Or if it's deep powder day, I've always been like even Spice One.
Oh, dude.
Like too short.
Or powder days are those electronic EDM days where there's not many vocals. It's just vibe beats.
Yeah.
Pumping through your headphones, like you said.
And that moves it all the way to your feet.
Oh, yeah, man. But it reminds me of getting ready to play a football game, right? I had kids that were stuck in the metal stuff. I would be listening to DJ Quick Tonight, you know, like a more soulful ballad and get just as pumped as those guys listening to Who Made Who? You buy AC/DC.
Yeah, Thunderstruck.
Yeah, or Thunderstruck. And I get just as pumped by DJ Quick, you know. It just depends, right? Different sauce for the different terrain, different stuff. Yeah, let's go for another. You got
some more rounds?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're in the K's. We got Keith Murray, Killa Army, King Just, Law, the Dark Man, Nine Lives, so Nine is his name, Nine, Lost Boys, Master Ace.
Lost Boys Renee was one of my...
Renee was the jam.
Renee for sure. OC, we got some OB Trice, ODB. People Under the Stairs.
This is what plays in my car every day. Like on the way here, I was People Under the Stairs and Royce the 5'9". Those are the two tracks I heard on the way here.
Love it. See, good taste in music over here. R.A. the Rugged Man.
Oh yeah.
We got.
That's actually who we were talking about seeing Wu-Tang in 8150. It was R.A. the Rugged Man opened up for Ray. And I want to say Capadonna.
Maybe. I saw R.A. the Rugged Man and RZA came through just some of the local little spots in Breckenridge.
Yeah.
Sherpa and Yetis back then. But it was amazing to see those guys in person. Little tiny venue as well. Shaheem, Slick Rick, Skills. Smith & Wesson.
Oh, they got a new album out.
No.
They just put the EP out, 4 songs, and they're Smith & Wesson. They're not the Cocoa Brovas or whatever.
Cocoa Brovas, or how they used to pronounce
so
it.
They Smith & Wesson, the gun company, made them change their name.
Wow.
They put out the album now, and it's Smith & Wesson. But it's Smith.
SMIF, as in Frank. Foxtrot.
And Wesson, so with that much of a change, I guess they were able to do it again, but they back under their old names. They're not doing the Cocoa Bros anymore.
Yeah, okay, very interesting.
This is Wax. So he's kind of, I would call it sublime hip hop. He's like a surfer kind of dude.
Okay.
Wears Vans and just... Yeah, you gotta listen to him. He's just like Prof, but he's funny, man.
Okay.
This song is about his Latina. My buddy DJ B hooked me up with this guy, and if you're not looking, you're not gonna find him, kind of thing, you know. But when you find him, it's like that jewel. And all his songs are just so fun, and he's doing Instagram and stuff, and he's just that guy who picks up a freaking guitar and plays the guitar and raps real funny, and it's a song.
Love it.
Know?
So Prof used to be apparently a snowboard instructor on a local
in Michigan,
in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, called Highland Hills.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I heard. So I don't know. I gotta kind of play some follow up on that one, but
all the Prof I have is he doesn't release edited tracks. It's all Rhyme Sayer stuff. Prof is I would say underneath Eminem probably one of the best white hip hop rappers there is.
My
Skills.
RA, I think, is in there too.
Yeah.
Rugged Man.
Yeah. Part of Wu-Tang Clan, right? Is RA or is
Associated with those guys, but no, really kind of his own thing. Yeah.
Who did I hear him with? 7L and Esoteric, Czarface. I guess that's
Okay.
7L and somebody else, but they working
With those guys.
those.
I have a friend you might see in the valley here. His name is the Ski Doc. Michael Walsh is his name, but he does mobile tuning, skis and snowboards. So he'll come to your business, come to your house and do that. But we're talking wax as in waxing your skis and snowboard, or wax as in vinyl?
Well,
Or how does he spell his name? W-A-X?
yes,
W-A-C?
WAX. And from what it's based on is, I believe it's vinyl. So, just great freaking artist that people should be listening to if you listen to the Krusher Show.
Go check out Wax, guys.
Yeah. And who else do we have on this list? What about oldies? Do you ever jam like, Marvin Gaye,
Temptations.
stuff like that? Art Robo, California Cruiser, Lowrider type music.
All those disco. I have quite a bit of disco in my collection here.
Disco's good.
I'll do 80s rock, but I won't go that far back. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, 80s rock and then nothing past that. So I've been getting into kind of drum and bass, but with the old school stuff.
Nice.
It's more up tempo and just throw the drums and breaks behind there and makes it for a funner listen, I guess. But your list, keep going. We have some.
Oh,
on there.
we're down there. Let's see. I got to pull it back up here. We got down to the W's. Tribe Called Quest. We have Second to None. But these were just the ones that I had in the whole album.
From Colorado, or are they another?
Pretty sure they're California, if I remember
San
right.
Francisco, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I just doing DJing and all this stuff for years. Just figured out that Tag Team was a Colorado band.
No way.
Wow, of course.
Yeah, Denver, Colorado, man.
Wow.
I always thought it was like Miami.
Totally.
Right, like Miami or Atlanta or something like that.
Yeah.
No, they were Denver boys. The reason I found that out is they were doing something with the Denver Broncos. I would never have known, but yeah, Tag Team, whoop, there it is, was Colorado stuff. Colfax
Okay.
Avenue, kind of a Aurora, I would say.
I got to a Broncos game this year, and they do mix it up a lot more with the music selection, so all kinds of genres. But they'll have a DJ up in the booth now. They'll put on the
Taylor.
Squizzy,
He's
on the
great
jumbotron.
DJ, he, I would say he's one of Denver's most popular DJs. He's more of a pop DJ, like radio style DJ. And then you get into Colorado's battle DJs, like the DMC champs and stuff. But yeah, he's more of a...
But you got to be more pop for that venue, right?
And he's perfect for that. I think he was 107.5's DJ for like 4 or 5 years. He runs a bunch of parties, and he part of his crew DJs for the Nuggets too. So they're taking care of all the Denver sports teams.
I didn't mind that 107.5 morning show.
No, dude, that was always great, right?
Yeah.
Just great music, great talk. It was our version of like the bad boy, the LA type stuff. Yeah, man, that was something. There was a station 88.5 that put out Chris Carnes or DJ Vajra. It was the CU community station, and all these guys on there competed as some of the best DJs in the world. Cutters and scratchers, and it was always underground hip hop. They're still around. I think Chris Carnes is part of Pretty Lights. Have you heard of Pretty Lights? Yeah, it's a Colorado like electronic dance music type stuff. But
They came through the Dillon Amphitheater just last year, a big show.
Yeah, they broke up for a while and now they're back together again. And really big stuff. But these guys started as, you know, hip hop DJs.
What got you into that genre?
Well, the whole thing about DJing kind of sucked me in. Growing up here, it was classic rock, yacht rock, and country, right? And right at the time, I want to say like Fresh Prince was popping, MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, the old breakdowns and stuff is what got me. Michael Jackson, New York City Breakers, so Run DMC. My sister bought me a vinyl. It was New York City Breakers, and it came with the how-to breakdance poster. And then you played the vinyl, and the vinyl had Sucka MCs, White Lines, I forgot.
Classics.
Freakazoid by UTFO.
That was a song.
Oh, all the best.
That's like your first electronica, right?
Right?
Freakazoid.
Yeah, Freakazoid. And then Kraftwerk, all the classic. Jam On It was on there. And
Solid.
Jam On It changed my life. Like, I want to hear more of this stuff. And my sister was a DJ. And at that time, it was 80s rock that she DJ'd and played. And I kind of turned her into the soul side of it. And we started getting into more of the hip hop parties. And she bought me my first equipment, and we went from there. So,
Very awesome.
yeah. I just got unplugged. Sorry, John.
For myself, it was a lot of just skiing and snowboarding, and I'd say Beastie Boys. So License to Ill,
Right?
but
And
check
then
your head.
What I was going to say, too, is what got me more into the underground hip hop was snowboard films. Mark Frank Montoya's stuff. Him being, looking like a rap video. This freaking headphone came out again.
Him and that
Ollie.
But both of their video parts were always about like that underground.
Yeah. I mean, it was the first time I think I heard Mobb Deep was we were talking about Ali Goulet made me a mixtape, and he mixed Survival of the Fittest in with Glaciers of Ice by Raekwon. And I have the tape somewhere, but it was one of the best mixes, and I wanted to know how this guy got the beats to match up. What was he doing, and guy was in Sunridge, so I went down and hung out with him for a little bit, watched these guys and built it differently, But the way my sister would play songs was just play and pause. One song's over, play the next song. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to mix the stuff together and get people grooving.
Way before AI could help you out with that.
I don't hate it what AI does right now, but if you're basing your music purely on it, it sucks.
Early 2000, AOD was a gang in Breckenridge, snowboard gang, the Army of Darkness.
Really?
Led by Chad Otterstrom and such. And we would have AOD Thursdays at a local bar where we would guest bartend. I could bartend, and I would give you any beer or something with the word "and" in it. Rum and Coke, Jack and whatever. That's all I could make. But then they had like a 2 little CD thing, so I was a CDJ. And it's like you put one in, go to track 5, play, and then you pause the other one.
We probably have the same unit right here.
Yep.
The Denon D9.
Yep.
Put a D9000 where the little mixer was right in between, and it was 2 CDs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
CDJ. And then throw you some Budweisers.
Right? Dude, that's awesome. And you were the and
guy.
bartender.
Hey, you want something fancy? Go somewhere else.
If there's even 2 hands in there, I'm not about
Yep.
it. That's freaking awesome.
First snowboard editing videos was certainly 2 VCRs, and you push play and record and pause, and that's how you edited. If you could call it that.
Clips, and what was the coolest part is with the third one was the music track.
Ooh.
Did you ever do that? You paralleled the 2 VCRs, and you only got 2 of the videos up, but the third one came in and was the music. So
the audio line.
I would record videos on MTV, and then we would lay it. Well, we started doing with football videos, like doing highlight reels of our old school football stuff.
Mixing some Yo MTV raps.
Yeah. MTV raps, it was straight off the TV, man.
Calling into the radio station,
Right.
requesting something,
Oh,
having
yeah.
your finger on the pause button, waiting for them to say, "This is next." So you do.
Holding your radio up to another radio just to get that mic to mic hookup or mic to speaker hookup. Oh yeah. I remember walking in, I was in kindergarten and my brother was doing that. And I slammed the door and I was like, "Hey, I'm home." And I just remember getting smacked down. "I'm recording MTV."
Be quiet.
Yeah, be quiet.
It's
We're
the new
making
stuff.
mixtapes.
The new stuff we don't want to pay for.
Exactly. Well, dude, you used to buy vinyl at City Market. You would go buy tapes and vinyl at City Market. Like, that's where I first got my Michael Jackson and that New York City Breakers.
Mine was Mills Fleet Farm.
Was it Mills? I
Yep.
remember that place.
We had
That's crazy. He sold vinyl there.
No, cassette tapes.
Oh yeah. We in Minturn there was a place called Gamble's, and I think they did cassettes and 8 tracks out of that. Those plastic freaking things, the anti-theft pieces.
Yeah, you had to take a knife or a saw to those things. I remember.
Yeah.
I think Nas Illmatic was the last tape cassette I bought where I had to take that plastic off.
Really?
Yeah, it was a struggle getting through that plastic.
But yeah, I can't say it was the last because I lived in Denver right next to Wax Tracks, and they still put all their cassettes in those freaking big plastic. I forgot what they're called.
I don't know.
Well,
The
there's cases.
anti-theft.
Yeah, anti-theft, but they
Deterrent.
have the little thing on it now. If you walk out with it, it beeps like crazy. But yeah, they still do all their stuff like that. It's crazy. But you can walk in with your headphones and open any vinyl there and listen to it. But you can't take a tape out and pop it in and play it in those big plastic cases. We are dating ourselves there, right, with that stuff.
A little bit, but
We're gonna say who still has a means to play a tape
Yeah.
or like VHS.
I do have both. I have an old, so we could mix snowboard videos with something called RCA cables. There was 3 cables. 1 could be video, 2 could be audio.
Right.
So you could have some snowboard, like a rail slide or some of those sounds from the mountain, and then the other you could pipe in, like you were saying, from some other tape deck you had.
It was always the aux cord, right? And people still use it now, but it's totally different than the way we used it.
You had to go to Radio Shack and get the aux cord into RCAs.
You could have splitters in there or 2 into 1 to try to go stereo into mono.
I remember even using the Mega Bass Sony and plugging that into tape to VCR recording. I forgot what video we used that for.
Some snowboard videos or skate videos.
Yeah, it was old stuff, man. I remember, I think that was still in the Sorel boot days. You know, the origins of stuff. That was before, what was the first major snowboard film that was out there?
Warren Miller's Tweaked and Twisted.
Tweaked and Twisted was 98?
No, like 89.
Was it their first snowboard stuff? So 89 was the first year Beaver Creek allowed it. I think Aspen was the last mountain to legalize.
What was Breck, 86?
I don't recall the dates.
I want to say
I know
Ski
Keystone was a
Cooper.
holdout for a while.
Yeah, Ski Cooper was the first.
Ski Cooper had the first snowboard contest.
Yeah,
And then Breckenridge, I think was 86, was the first world championships.
Half pipe.
with Kelly, Craig, and all those guys. That was split.
Damian
tail,
Sanders.
right? You still had the split tail on those.
Yeah, kind of getting out of that. Like 86 was some splits.
Yeah.
then a lot of flats,
Yeah.
and then Terry Kidwell.
Actually having bindings at that time in '86.
Yeah, high backs and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah. Would let us into leashes. Leash law. Oh my goodness.
I'm still around.
Had that talk.
What about this guy in the back? You remember MC Breed?
Of course.
What this was on Mark Frank's first, was it
Major part.
411
Snow. 411 Snow video.
Yes.
Magazine?
Very well could be.
I think that's where I first heard the song. One of the best MCs out of Detroit, besides Eminem and those guys. MC Breed. Were you an LL Cool J fan?
A little bit.
Latest
Yeah.
Love.
Yep.
Yeah.
The-
Jeff Meyer was all about LL Cool J.
Yeah, but that was one guy that was, some of his stuff was really hardcore and stayed in the underground hip hop, but he had those pop hits, man, that made him a freaking billionaire, I guess. But
Still out there recording, or still out there
Oh,
performing.
he just did a good track with them.
yeah, no, Q-Tip just put out his latest album this in 2024. It's a great album. What about these guys? Gangstar, were they on your?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if I mentioned them, but yeah, the whole Gangstar crew.
That was another Snowboard first.
Hard to earn.
Hard to earn. Great. I mean, with hip hop and snowboard stuff, it kept things fresh. You know what I mean? Like whatever song you heard on those snowboard freaking things, if you got it first, you were a cool kid.
Well,
Just
Guru
depended-
is just. Go ahead.
Just depend who made the video too. Because
Right.
you know, like Whitey was all about like a lot of metal, and then he'd throw in a random hip hop.
Right.
But it just depends.
But that's the thing too, is we don't just do hip hop. Like you said, it's metal for certain days. It's this, it's punk, it's rock, it's dance music, disco when you're feeling it. But that's, our valley didn't have that, right? So I would go to Denver, I would go to whatever city, buy whatever magazine I could to get more of this hip hop stuff and put it and bring it like it was a snowboard film. You know what I mean? Kind of, I don't know how to put it. Our valley lacked that culture, that hip hop culture. I mean, you played hip hop back in the day, it was, you were looked down on.
You got that evil eye.
Yeah, but now you got freaking everybody doing TikTok dances to all these little sprites and little whatevers, and yeah, it's.
There you go.
See, I grew up with this kind of stuff: Pink Cookies, LL Cool J, in a mini truck with an 18-inch subwoofer that was built by your cousin,
Custom box.
with my BMX bike in the back. And you thought you were the coolest person on earth, dude, cruising with that
Ford Escort with 210s and 212s, shaking the world.
flipping quarters on your roof, shaking the world. Yeah, and all you'd hear outside was boom, boom. your license plate rattling.
The
but-
world shadowing. Yeah.
But you'd be cruising like the happiest go lucky dude in the world. You pull up to the A Basin parking lot, boom, boom. You were no Nate 4Gs. Really? You had the Ford Escort?
No.
Oh.
My best friend did. I had a Toyota Celica.
The first one I ever rode in was a Volkswagen Rabbit, and he had an 18-inch subwoofer in the back where the hatchback thing was, and no box, just 18-inch sub in the back, and that thing used to flip quarters on the top. It was a different time back then.
I loved that. That culture was so awesome.
Cruising, right?
Yeah.
You'd go out and cruise on a Sunday or a Friday night, and you'd see people out cruising their rides. We did it here. Minturn was the cruising spot. You went up and down that street all freaking night long, man. Cops would mess with you, but
You had to cruise.
you had to
Yeah,
cruise.
yeah.
Would you guys cruise in Summit?
Not really in the Summit. My cousins live way out in eastern Colorado, a little town called Haxton. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a main drag there, and that's when we were too young to drive, we'd watch the high school cruisers cruising up and down the strip from the front porch there.
And it was a thing to do. I mean, now you have social media. Back then, it was get in your car and go social media outside.
Yeah, that's physical touch of other people and high fives.
Yeah, right?
Frowned upon. Fedge Canar and I would ride Loveland, Colorado, and there's a chairlift that goes way up to the top. It's called Lift 9. But from the very top of Loveland, Lift 9, you could hear Mark Frank Montoya and Gino rolling into the parking lot. Up I-70, that bass was hitting hard.
So when Mark Frank Montoya moved to Sunridge, I forget his name, runner of SOS, Arn hooked him up at that place, right? And Mark Frank was like total Northside Mafia skater, crazy as all can be, the most, but brought it to the snow and to change stuff, right? I mean, was doing crazy things, man. I just remember his snowboard clips would be music video based, right? I mean, it looked like a freaking music video. He's wearing big chains and
riding powder days with his puffy coats unzipped.
Yeah, man. Ripping big mountain stuff, just looking like a G.
Yep.
Gold chains, everything. Cruising in a tinted out Mercedes in the beginning of the video, parking in the freaking ski parking lot and going out and ripping it, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then being a buddy of his, like, I miss those days. I don't think kids nowadays really have that culture to really, a culture that allowed you to dig it up and find it. Does that make sense? You had to go look for it.
But there's like a lot of camaraderie that's missed.
Yeah.
With kids nowadays, like everybody's out, they have their small clique, but it's not like when we were growing up where it was just like, even in the summers, you know where the party's at because everybody's got their bicycles in front of this guy's house.
Right.
Same thing, like before the cell phones and this, like, we're starting our day at 9 a.m. here. That's it.
Right.
You're late, you suck. You got to figure out where everybody's at and you chase them down.
Or if I rode to the snowboard hill, driving with Nate, Nate would, you got to hear this, and he'd throw something on I'd never heard before. Right. Or same thing, I'd find something underground, like you said, or a backpack, and Nate, you got to check this out. And that's how you discover those types of things. It was just word of mouth.
When Massey came here, his collection he had of music mimicked my collection. So that's what, I don't think he took a step back moving here like a kid would move to a normal school. He just fit in, like we were doing the same things. And like I said before, I hated kids from Summit growing up here. They were Scummit, right?
Scummit kids.
And I hated kids from Eagle Valley because they were the cowboys and we were the skiers or whatever, or snowboarders. And there was division, but now you're figuring out that we were doing the same damn things. Searching for the same, watching the same movies. Mm-hmm. And doing everything the same. I guess that's the only benefit of social media, is finding those, hey man, I used to hate your town, but dude, we were doing the same things. Listening to the same music.
The instant access to anything is so fun.
I think it should be used that way more, as learning rather than entertainment, right?
That's how it should be.
Right. You should be using it as the tool it is rather than the tool using you, right?
My daughter getting stuck on a TikTok scroll for 2 hours.
Dude.
Like, that is stupid.
Legally, they have to put in the scrolling thing, hey, you're scrolling too much. Do something else. Like, I've got into it myself. Even on YouTube, I scroll too much and it'll be an ad, hey. You've been on here a little. Yep. You have a life.
but that's kind of good too. Like, if you search a single person out where, it comes up next, like, oh, you might like this. You might like this. That's the learning part. That's awesome.
Right. Well, and every question you have, your answer's at the palm of your hand. And if you are going through your day still not knowing something, you didn't take the time to learn it, right? I mean, it's the World Wide Web. We are supposed to be in an age of enlightenment. This should enlighten us on all different cultures, all different aspects of life, but I think it pulls some people down and people use it in a sinister way.
It's
Or
amazing.
the companies are using it in a sinister way.
That could be it as well. You got YouTube University. We have all